Eskom announcing plans to implement stage 2 load shedding from 10 p.m. overnight until 5 a.m. started last night and, as we're reporting, is set to continue today. In a statement, Eskom said load shedding was necessary to preserve what it termed emergency generation reserves in preparation for high demand expected next month when economic activity resumes. So what's the problem? Here's energy expert Chris Yelland from EE Intelligence. Chris, good afternoon to you and welcome. Eskom, in its statement, blaming what it terms unplanned maintenance. What is that?
That is breakdowns. In other words, it's like driving your car to Durban, and while you're on the way, out of the blue, your car just breaks down. And so expected generation capacity that was expected to be on the service is unexpectedly out of service. And this coming together with high levels of planned maintenance outages over this Christmas period. Eskom is doing significantly increased levels of maintenance. But these unplanned breakdowns coming at the same time is throwing Eskom into trouble.
What sort of trouble? I mean, how stable is the system right now?
Well, it's obviously very tight to the extent where they are trying not to use as much diesel as they would, they're not running the diesel open cycle turbines as flat out as possible, trying to conserve diesel and replenish their stocks of water in the upper dams of the pump storage schemes. So that requires that you allocate some generation capacity to this pumping operation, which means there's not enough generation capacity for customers, which obviously is very surprising because at this time of the year, customer demand is very low anyway. But as I say, the combination of high levels of planned maintenance as well as high levels of unexpected breakdowns at the same time is what is causing the problem. And they are really bracing themselves for an increase in demand as the new year kicks in. And to be ready for that, they want to have their diesel stocks replenished and the water at the top dams of the pump storage schemes at a high level so that they can hopefully limp through in the early part of next year.
Is that water and diesel combination a reality? I mean, this would be a normal course of events. Would they be able to do that timelessly?
Well, the diesel reserves are really emergency reserves, and operating the open cycle gas turbines are really a last resort. But the point is they're trying to keep the diesel tanks full and not use as much as they would otherwise be forced to use. And to do that, they need to operate their pump storage schemes. But these schemes, it's like having a big battery, a pump storage scheme. You can use that battery when you need it, but it goes flat. And at certain times, you need to recharge it. And that's what they're doing at night at the moment. They are curtailing the load around the country to give them space to recharge their batteries, in other words, the pump storage schemes. And that is being done at night to try to avoid the impact on the economy and on people. So whilst it's obviously inconvenient to some, it is taking place, in the early hours of the night and the morning to try and minimize the inconvenience.
I'm curious to know how long this diesel turbine option is going to remain. You say that we're using emergency reserves. My understanding always was that it was a temporary measure, yet it doesn't seem to be.
Eskom have indicated that there's going to be shortages of capacity for the next 2 years at least. Because to do the deep level maintenance that is required is going to require shutdowns generator by generator across its fleet in order to do this deep level maintenance. And so we're going to go through a period of higher than normal maintenance, which means less than normal generation capacity available for duty. And then when you have these unplanned breakdowns coming unexpectedly and sometimes a number of breakdowns together, then you're suddenly pushed over the edge. So it is really a sign that the power system is running very close to the edge, and a combination of unfortunate circumstances can easily push us over the edge. And Eskom have said that this is going to continue for another 2 years whilst they try to catch up on the maintenance backlog. The problem is that the solution is not maintenance. Maintenance is a kind of a holding pattern. The solution is to bring on new generation capacity and that's going to take 2 to 3 to 4 years.
When you talk about breakdowns, what exactly is breaking down?
You know, there can be any number of things, Jeremy. A coal-fired power plant is quite a complex piece of machinery, as it were. It can be breakdowns of conveyors feeding coal from the stockyards to the silos, and from the silos to the bunkers. It can be problems with the mills requiring additional maintenance because of poor quality coal. It can be problems in the boilers. It can be boiler tube leaks, overheating. Bag filters, that is the pollution control equipment, can cause problems. There can be water supply problems. The number of possible causes of an unplanned shutdown are really too many to enumerate.
All right. Chris Yelland from EE Intelligence, thank you very much indeed. And